Imagine you're sitting in this really high-end corporate boardroom.
Okay, setting the scene.
Yeah, so the quarterly meeting just wrapped up,
Hmm.
and the executive team, they're looking at their HR dashboards,
Right.
and they're looking at an 87% employee retention rate.
Wow, which sounds great.
Right. I mean, they're saying that the average tenure is holding perfectly steady.
Right.
They're practically popping champagne, slapping each other on the back.
Because they think they're winning.
Exactly. They genuinely believe they are winning the war for talent. They think they've built this bulletproof culture.
Yeah.
But what if those exact metrics, like those beautiful upward trending retention graphs, are actually masking a severe creeping organizational decay?
That's the terrifying part.
It is. And that is the core argument of the source we're looking at today. It's this really fascinating paper called The Slow Death of Ambition.
By Jonathan H. Westover, PhD.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it makes this brilliant point that retaining a physical body in a desk chair does not mean you've retained that person's drive.
It's such a dangerous illusion for any leadership team.
Yeah.
You have an organization that looks completely stable. Maybe it's even thriving on paper.
Right?
But if you actually look at the daily reality of the work being done, the underlying engine of innovation has just completely stalled out.
Wow.
The workforce hasn't quit, but they've quietly opted out of caring.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because we're not talking about the kind of dramatic burnout where someone like dramatically flips a desk and quips.
No, not at all. Right.
The author calls this invisible epidemic ambient disengagement.
Yeah, that's the term.
And our mission for this deep dive is to explore exactly how modern workplaces sort of systematically crush our drive. Like why staying in a supposedly comfortable, easy job might actually be the most dangerous thing you could do for your long-term career.
Which is so counterintuitive.
I know. And critically, we're going to look at the research-backed ways to bring that spark back.
Yes.
So to start, let's define what we are actually looking at here. What separates ambient disengagement from just, having a typical bad day at the office?
Well, the crucial distinction is that ambient disengagement is a stable psychological state.
All right.
And it's one that standard corporate surveys completely fail to catch.
Really? How do they miss it?
Because most HR metrics only measure two things. They ask, are you satisfied? And are you actively planning to quit?
Ah, right.
But an employee in a state of ambient disengagement, they withdraw their cognitive engagement and their proactive behavior, but they maintain perfect surface compliance.
So they're still doing the basics.
Exactly. They still answer emails within 20 minutes. They still show up on time to that Tuesday morning strategy meeting.
Smiling and nodding.
Smiling and nodding. But they're entirely withholding their creativity, their problem-solving ability, and their initiative.
Wow. So they aren't actively trying to sabotage the company. They're just, like existing in the background. And the sheer scale of this is wild. The paper cites Gallup's longitudinal research showing that only 32% of U.S. employees are actually engaged.
It's a staggering number.
Think about that. If you are in a meeting with 10 people, only 3 of them are mentally in the room.
Yeah.
But the disconnect at the executive level is what really caught my eye. Bain & Company found that 80% of senior executives think they treat their employees well. But when you ask the employees, only 8% agree.
Wow, just 8%.
That is a massive delusion.
It really highlights a profound lack of self-awareness at the top.
Yeah.
And the paper digs into the psychological mechanism behind why employees check out. It's called the effort-reward imbalance.
Effort-reward imbalance. Go on.
And what's fascinating here is that withdrawing effort is a strategic choice. It's not a character flaw.
So it's not just people being lazy.
Exactly. It's highly rational. Your brain is essentially acting like an accountant. When you, as an employee, perceive a chronic mismatch between the sweat and tears you're pouring into a project and what the organization is giving you in return, you calibrate your effort downward to restore balance to the ledger.
Wow. So you're just protecting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you're missing out on financial recognition, influence, or career development, you just pull back.
That makes me think of what happens when your smartphone hits 10% battery and it flips into low power mode.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Right, like the screen is still on, you can still make a call, the basic functions work just fine. But the phone disables the background refresh.
Yep.
It shuts down the high-performance apps, it stops checking your location.
Yeah.
All the things that make the phone truly smart are turned off just to ensure the battery survives the rest of the day.
That captures the mechanism perfectly.
Yeah.
The employee is conserving their energy because the organizational environment has actively signaled to them that offering anything more than baseline compliance is a waste of battery life.
Right. Why run a high-performance app if nobody is looking at the screen?
Exactly. Why bother?
But, I mean, if an entire department or an entire company is just running on low power mode, we have to talk about the fallout.
It's huge.
The organizational costs are staggering. The Corporate Leadership Council found that, in general, there's a 20% performance drop between engaged and disengaged employees.
Which is bad enough.
Right. But when you look at roles that require creativity and problem solving, that drop plummets to a massive 57%.
And that 57% drop makes perfect sense when you understand how innovation actually happens.
How so?
Well, the paper emphasizes that discretionary behaviors, which are the voluntary extra efforts, account for up to 50% of the variance in a company's innovation outcomes.
Like what kind of extra effort?
Like thinking about a problem in the shower, or, staying an extra 10 minutes to help a colleague troubleshoot a bug.
Oh, right.
Breakthroughs don't happen because someone was following a checklist. They happen in the margins.
Wow, yeah.
So when a workforce drops to baseline compliance, those margins vanish. And the innovation pipeline just dries up entirely.
And the financial reality of that is brutal.
Oh, absolutely.
Towers Watson research showed that companies with high engagement had a 19.2% operating income growth over 12 months.
Almost 20% growth.
Yeah. But companies with low engagement, they saw a 32.7% decline.
That is a massive swing.
It is. But, okay, let me push back on this for a second.
Sure, good.
From a corporate perspective, losing 30% of your operating income is obviously a disaster.
Right.
But for you, the listener, the individual employee, a job where you can just do the bare minimum, get paid a decent salary, and log off right at 5 p.m. without taking the stress home.
It sounds pretty good.
It sounds like a pretty sweet deal to a lot of people. Coasting sounds comfortable. Why is the paper arguing that this is actually a trap for the individual?
Because the comfort is temporary, but the psychological toll of meaning deprivation is permanent. We really have to look at self-determination theory here. Humans are not machines.
Right.
We have core psychological needs for competence, autonomy, and purpose. When you coast for years at a time, you aren't just resting.
What are you doing then?
You're actually corroding your mental health. The environment creates a state of learned helplessness.
Learned helplessness, meaning like you just assume you can't change anything, so you stop trying.
Precisely. You start to feel entirely powerless to change your situation, even when objectively better job options exist in the market.
Wow.
You stop searching. You stop networking. Furthermore, your skills actively atrophy.
That makes sense.
You might think you're developing because you've survived at a company for 5 years, but your competitive positioning in the external labor market is degrading every single day you spend on low power mode.
That's scary.
And the tragic part is the negative spillover into personal lives.
Right. It doesn't stay at the office.
No. The paper notes that this persistent low-grade disconnection from meaning strains family relationships. People come home absolutely drained. Not from doing too much, but from the exhausting dissonance of caring too little.
Wow. Drained from caring too little. So if muddling through is actually destroying our long-term potential and our mental health, we need to know how to spot the environments that cause this.
Yes, the danger zones.
Right. Where does ambition go to die?
Well,
The paper outlines 4 specific high-risk environments.
let's go through them.
The first one is environments where following the rules matters more than solving the problem.
Right.
You're just pushing paper.
Heavy proceduralization.
Yeah. The second is workplaces where the rewards seem totally random,
Right.
like where you bust your tail, but the promotion goes to whoever plays the best office politics.
A classic motivation killer.
And the third is environments with suffocating layers of bureaucracy where you need 3 signatures just to buy a stapler.
Exactly. And those theoretical environments manifest very clearly in specific industries.
Like which ones?
Take professional services, like large law firms. Associates are ground down for years only to find themselves permanently blocked from making partner.
Oh, brutal.
Or look at the tech industry. As startups experience rapid hypergrowth, they inevitably introduce layers of bureaucratic middle management.
Right. They get bogged down.
Suddenly, the brilliant developers who used to push code directly to users feel completely distanced from the actual product impact.
Makes sense.
And in healthcare, it's the massive administrative burden. Doctors and nurses spend so much time logging data into portals that the core clinical purpose of actually helping human beings is completely obscured.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
But okay, there was a fourth high-risk environment in the paper that genuinely surprised me.
Oh, which one?
I mean, I completely understand why bureaucracy and office politics kill ambition.
Yeah.
But the paper lists prolonged stability as a major risk factor.
Yes.
Shouldn't stability make people feel secure and happy?
This raises an important question about how human motivation interacts with corporate structures. Counterintuitively, when an organization goes through extended periods without any major changes, growth, or disruption, promotional opportunities completely stagnate.
Ah, I see.
The decision-making patterns ossify. Because a pie isn't getting any bigger, office politics and relationship hoarding suddenly replace actual performance metrics.
Right, because that's the only way to advance.
Exactly. If nothing is changing and the hierarchy is locked in stone, the employee rationally decides there's absolutely no point in offering new ideas.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the disease, we know the symptoms, and we know the habitats where this virus thrives.
Yes.
The question now is, if these environments are suffocating us, how do organizations help their people breathe again?
We need antidotes.
Exactly. And the paper outlines several, starting with how we actually measure and reward effort. They call it transparent effort outcome linkages.
And this is foundational. You have to fix the math in the employee's head.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Locke and Latham's research demonstrates that when you give people specific, challenging goals and combine that with transparent, immediate feedback, performance increases by 12 to 15%.
Wow, that's a big jump.
It is. Employees desperately need to see a direct, undeniable line from their sweat to a valued result. If that line is blurry, they disengage.
Microsoft provides a perfect case study for this, actually.
Oh, the stack ranking.
Yes. For a long time, they used this system called stack ranking. It was this arbitrary system that forced fixed performance distributions.
Right, grading on a curve.
Exactly. So it didn't matter if you had a team of 10 absolute geniuses. The system required managers to rank someone at the bottom and label them a poor performer.
Which is terrible for morale.
It practically forced employees to sabotage their peers just to survive.
Yeah.
When Microsoft finally eliminated that and started tying individual contributions directly to team rewards, collaboration and risk-taking just shot up, people felt safe to try again.
Makes a huge difference.
Or look at Atlassian, the software company. They run these things called ship-it days.
Those are fascinating because they move beyond just financial rewards and tap into creative ownership.
Right. Employees get to work on totally self-directed projects for 24 hours.
Which sounds like fun.
But it's not just a cute team-building exercise. If an employee demonstrates value, the company actually gives them real budget and implementation resources to build it.
That's the key.
Yeah, it proves to the workforce that extra effort actually matters in the real world.
Which naturally bridges into the second major structural fix the paper discusses, distributed authority.
Okay.
You cannot just tell someone their work matters. You have to give them meaningful control over how that work is executed.
Right.
This is what creates psychological ownership. But for it to be effective, it has to be genuine authority, not just, a suggestion box.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because it's the difference between a boss giving you a GPS destination and letting you drive the car versus a boss sitting in the passenger seat, grabbing the steering wheel every 2 minutes to micromanage your turns.
That's a great way to look at it.
W.L. Gore, the company behind Gore-Tex.
Yeah.
They do this incredibly well. They basically eliminated the traditional corporate hierarchy. Employees aren't called subordinates, they're associates.
I like that.
And they organize around projects based on who actually has the knowledge, not who has the biggest title.
Which is how it should be.
Exactly. Handelsbanken, a massive Swedish bank, did the same thing by decentralizing their lending decisions down to the local branch level.
Wow.
The people interacting with the customers actually have the power to make the call.
But we have to be careful here because giving someone the steering wheel without teaching them how to drive is a recipe for a crash.
True.
Autonomy without a safety net is just an illusion that causes anxiety.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The paper points out that for distributed authority to work, you need to provide a sandbox.
A sandbox.
Right. You don't prescribe the exact process they have to follow, but you do have to specify the boundaries.
Gotcha.
You tell them the budget limits, you define the quality standards, but you let them choose the method for getting there.
And I imagine you also have to be okay with them messing up occasionally.
Crucially, there has to be genuine error tolerance.
Yeah.
If a leader stands up in a town hall and says, "You all have autonomy now," but then publicly punishes an employee for a well-intentioned experimental failure,
Oof. Game over.
the rest of the workforce will immediately retreat back to low-power mode.
Right.
You also have to provide escalation clarity. Employees need to know exactly where the boundaries of their sandbox end so they know when a decision truly requires management input.
Otherwise, they're just guessing.
Exactly. Otherwise, they spend all their energy second-guessing their own authority.
That makes total sense. Structure and clear rules actually create the freedom to operate.
Precisely.
But fixing the structure isn't the whole puzzle. You can build the perfect sandbox, but if the people in it don't feel like they're growing or they feel like the game is rigged, they're still going to check out.
Absolutely.
So the paper moves into a second set of antidotes focused on the human element: capability, justice, and purpose.
And capability building is where many companies get it completely wrong.
How so?
They rely on annual training seminars. But research shows that stretch assignments, putting an employee in a role or project that is slightly beyond their current capability, explains 70% of leadership capability development.
Wow, 70%.
Yes. Formal training only accounts for 10%.
That's crazy.
People learn by doing things they aren't entirely sure they can do.
The AT&T example in the paper blew my mind regarding this.
Oh, the reskilling one.
Yeah. When their industry rapidly shifted toward the cloud and mobile data, they didn't just fire their legacy workforce and hire new people.
Which is what a lot of places would do.
Right? Instead, they invested $1 billion into a massive reskilling initiative.
Huge investment.
But they didn't just throw courses at people. They explicitly mapped out the employees' current skills to future roles within the company.
Oh, that's smart.
They showed them the exact path to remain relevant. It completely eliminated that anxiety of obsolescence.
It gives them a future.
Exactly. And on the more creative side, Pixar Animation Studios runs Pixar University.
I've heard of this.
They offer classes in everything from animation to improv comedy to everyone in the company, accountants, security guards, executives, just to keep that creative muscle engaged across the entire organization.
Taking that a step further, even with the best skills and autonomy, conflict is inevitable.
Right.
And this is where the concept of procedural justice comes in.
Procedural justice, okay.
The psychological reality is that how a decision is made often matters much more to employees than what is actually decided.
Really?
Yes. The Mayo Clinic is a prime example of this. They use a cross-functional governance model.
Meaning what?
When a major decision needs to be made, they involve frontline clinicians, researchers, and administrators right from the very beginning.
So even if the final decision goes against what a specific doctor wanted, they don't disengage.
Exactly, because they were involved early in defining the problem.
Ah, I see.
They were given a voice and a thorough explanation of the rationale. When people feel the process was fair and their expertise was respected, they maintain their commitment to the organization even when they lose the debate.
Which brings us to the final piece of the human element: purpose.
The big one.
Yeah, I feel like I've worked at places that had beautiful mission statements painted on the lobby walls, but the culture was still incredibly toxic.
Oh, absolutely. A poster doesn't change behavior.
Right. So what is the actual mechanism for making purpose work?
The mechanism is pro-social motivation. It's the direct, visceral connection to the people your work actually helps.
Okay.
Adam Grant's famous call center study is the gold standard for this.
What did he find?
He found that university fundraisers who were simply given the opportunity to meet the actual scholarship recipients,
Oh, wow.
like the actual students whose tuition was paid for by the funds they raised, they saw massive boosts in their performance and call times.
Because it wasn't abstract anymore.
Exactly. Medtronic, the medical device company, does this brilliantly too.
What do?
They regularly bring in patients whose lives were literally saved by their pacemakers and devices to speak directly to the engineers who built them.
That gives me chills.
It completely transforms the work from just soldering a circuit board into saving a human life.
And Patagonia does this with environmental activism. They donate 1% of their revenue to environmental organizations.
Put their money where their mouth is.
Right. They prioritize sustainable materials even when it actively costs them profit margins. But, going back to the mission statement on the wall,
Yeah.
if a company claims to care about a purpose, but their actions don't align, does that just make things worse?
It accelerates disengagement dramatically.
I knew it.
Yeah, purpose rhetoric that is contradicted by actual resource allocation breeds deep cynicism. If leadership claims to care about the environment or patient health or employee well-being, but every single budget decision only prioritizes short-term quarterly profit,
You see right through it.
the employees instantly recognize the hypocrisy. The commitment to purpose has to be authentic, and it must be visibly backed by real money and resources.
So to pull all these solutions together, the autonomy, the stretch assignments, the authentic purpose, the organization really has to fundamentally rewrite its unwritten agreement with the employee.
The psychological contract, yes.
Right. The paper frames this as recalibrating the psychological contract for the future of work. The old contract was security for loyalty.
Yes.
You know, you give us 40 years of obedience, we give you a pension and a gold watch.
Yeah.
That contract is gone.
It has completely dissolved.
Yeah.
And organizations that try to enforce loyalty without offering security are the ones suffering the most from ambient disengagement.
That makes total sense. So what's the new contract?
The new psychological contract must be growth for contribution.
Growth for contribution.
Organizations have to explicitly commit to accelerating an employee's capability and marketability in exchange for high performance while they're in the building.
LinkedIn's approach to this is such a fascinating paradox.
Oh, they do this so well.
They actually sit down with employees and explicitly promise to enhance their external employability.
Right.
They train them to be so good that they could get hired anywhere else. You would think that would make people leave faster.
You would think so.
But paradoxically, promising to make someone highly employable everywhere else builds such immense trust that it makes them want to work harder for you right now.
And you see this new contract manifesting in entirely new structural models, too.
Like what?
We're seeing tour-of-duty talent models where employment isn't this indefinite sentence, but a bounded multi-year commitment to a specific mission.
I like that framing.
When the mission is done, you evaluate if there's a new tour or if it's time to part ways amicably.
Right.
Companies are building transparent career lattices instead of rigid ladders, encouraging people to make lateral moves to learn new skills rather than just fighting for the one management spot above them.
In Morningstar, the massive tomato processor takes this to the absolute extreme.
You really do.
They operate with radical distributed leadership. They don't even have traditional managers.
Which sounds chaotic, but it works.
Right. Employees use what they call colleague letters of understanding to negotiate their roles, responsibilities, and commitments directly with their peers.
Wow.
It sounds wild, but it forces every single person to actively engage with the business process.
And organizations have to embrace these radical models if they want to survive in what researchers call VUCA environments.
VUCA. Remind me what that stands for.
Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity.
Ah, right.
Intuit adapted to this reality with their Design for Delight methodology.
How does that work?
Instead of executing rigid multi-year strategic plans, they shifted their entire culture to running rapid, low-risk customer experiments.
Oh, cool. They treat unexpected surprises not as failures, but as necessary learning data. So bringing this all together, ambient disengagement is an invisible, creeping organizational killer.
Truly.
If you're listening to this and you find yourself operating on low power mode, doing the bare minimum while you scroll job boards, realize that it is not necessarily a character flaw.
No, it's not.
It is a highly rational response to broken systems, opaque performance metrics, and a lack of true autonomy in your workplace.
Exactly.
But as the research shows, the cure exists. With transparent outcomes, genuine distributed authority, fair processes, and an authentic purpose backed by real resources, that spark can be reignited.
It's not lost forever.
Right. Your ambition is a renewable resource. It desperately needs the right environment to thrive, though. If you feel like you are sleepwalking through your days, recognize that it's a structural issue, not just personal burnout.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, building on the paper's focus on organizational agility, it leaves us with a rather haunting question to consider.
What's that?
If entire swaths of the global workforce are currently operating in the state of ambient disengagement, if millions of brilliant, capable people are effectively sleepwalking through their days in a state of mere surface compliance, what happens to our society's collective ability to solve massive existential challenges?
Oh, wow.
Are we losing the cures, the critical innovations, and the breakthroughs of tomorrow simply because millions of people are trapped in comfortable jobs that have slowly extinguished their desire to try?
That is a heavy thought to leave on, but a vital one. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep questioning the systems around you, and whatever you do, keep your ambition alive.